Joey Walker, Great Britain, and number 122, Julian Cardona, Colombia. 4 riders in the lead. On the 12 seconds toujours, 12 seconds, still 12 seconds between the front 4 and the back. 12 seconds. Number 112, Joey Walker, Great Britain, and number 128, Blažovic of Serbia. Crash of Cardona, Colombia on the climb. Riding, still leading the race after crashing.
Hello and welcome to the first Tour de France. But actually, let's just start that again because I'm a little nervous here. Hello and welcome to the 2019 Tour de France first wrap-up. And totally awesome guest here. Little Guy is back on the pod.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, Little Guy, were you able to get everything taken care of and watch the first 5 stages of the tour, and so you can talk about them today?
I have not watched every moment of the first 5 stages, but I think I've watched enough to discuss.
Awesome. And what we're going to do is pretty much just kind of just have our general conversation that I think we've just been having over the years. I mean, 15 years that I've known you, and Spencer, and just kind of just get into a little bit of tour talk, because this is definitely peak form. So,
yep.
And it's just also, there's kind of the Tour de France falls in such a wonderful time for an American sports fan. Is that pretty much all you have is Wimbledon, maybe some All-Star baseball.
Yeah, it's a little weak.
And then NBA free agency. So it's kind of like Tour Central. I love it. Mm-hmm. And watching that ad-free coverage on NBC Sports Gold is one of my favorite things right now.
It is really
the coverage
good.
Is fantastic. It's totally the opposite. I don't know if you've been watching and seeing that Lance Armstrong now is being featured on, along with the only Grand Tour winner of the last 29 years, Chris Horner.
Yeah.
And
it's a little weird.
Meanwhile, all of that all of that is happening within the realm that it was 30 years ago that Greg LeMond won by 8 seconds.
Yep.
It is amazing how, a nice round number of 30 years, 8 seconds, USA Cycling is selling a commemorative T-shirt about this.
They are.
And then NBC Sports is just going back to the old, the dark ages of bringing Lance Armstrong on their television.
Yeah, if I had a better option of who to give my money to right now to watch the tour, I would definitely be boycotting the NBC because of the Lance, but it's a little difficult.
But what's nice is they do give us that other option where you get Robbie.
That's true. The Robbie stuff.
I don't even know who the other guy is.
I totally don't know either right now.
But he is absolutely a hoot. I'll look it up here in a little bit, but he's fantastic, and I really should know his name. I know I look it up every year for the last 3 years. I've been listening to him, and I welcome him into my house every year. He's fantastic. So, anyways, Little Guy.
Yeah.
Jimmy. Let's just what do you think of these first couple stages? I mean, the first thing that sticks out to me, just maybe I'll kick it off with this, is that we haven't seen the defining crash that has taken out a contender in the first 5 stages. We had the Fulsang crash, but he made it back. There isn't anything we haven't seen the Levi Leipheimer go down in stage 1 and Jimmy Casper break his neck crash.
No, which is good. It's great. Minimal crashes other than the Groenewegen or whatever his name is going down in the first stage, and that, change in the
There's been a couple of crashes
dynamics
into the grass or lighter ones, but it's not been catastrophic crashes.
Yeah, I think that's a good change. I mean, all the big crashes that affected the GC happened in May and June. So, we had them. They just happened in the pre tour.
Yeah, it's the prologue plus, or minus 80 stages. Yeah, that's a really good point. That the crashes have still affected this tour, but. I was talking on the Mainline podcast with Spencer a little bit about this. Another thing that sticks out is just on the local group rides, people talking about the open tour. Yeah. How do you feel about my idea that this is completely Geraint Thomas's to lose? That
I heard your doubt. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you have doubt?
I do not believe as deeply in G as you do, but I also haven't
read his book.
Yeah, you read his autobiography, so I think you probably have some insights about just his, his constitution, his general constitution.
He's willing to dig deep.
He's willing to dig deep. I don't doubt he's willing to dig deep, but he's been, I don't know, he's just been lacking this year. And I don't know.
But what's he been lacking in, like, the other races? I mean,
yeah.
I'm sitting here. Look, I want Nairo to win on heart and above hearts. And more than anybody how much I want Nairo to win.
He's been lacking too, so.
But I'm just sitting here going, like, I don't understand how anyone thinks that Geraint Thomas is not going to pull this up.
I think he'll be near the bouts, but, like, I mean, what's to say that he wins another Grand Tour? I mean, look at Wiggins. But Wiggins looked so good when he won, and then look what happened after that. It was never quite the same. I mean,
the Jiffy Bag, Royal Mail started to get a little bit slower in their deliveries, but I guess I'm a little confused. It's a total, like, play for the ratings. It's the classic page out of the aforementioned Armstrong book of, like, oh, I'm not feeling so good. You should really look at Ulrich, and they put the pressure on Ulrich, and Ulrich's over there eating his ice cream and at the dance club, and I just sit here and I'm just going, I truly believe that this is Geraint Thomas's to lose. It is nice for Nairo that now he has a single person to follow and to put together his attacks, and maybe tomorrow's stage 6, and when listeners are listening to this, it would have already happened, we'll know. But so if knowing what you know now, classic roller derby bet, one of our favorite little side games, knowing what you know now, who is going to be in the top step in France?
In France, you want me to go all the way?
Or, sorry, in Paris.
In Paris, France. Man, I think it's open. See, I know you're very confident, but I don't know if Thomas has it. I don't feel Barnell has it.
You are so eating the Kool-Aid, drinking the Kool-Aid of the ASO. Just trying to drive these ratings.
I mean, I really don't see somebody that completely stands out. I feel like there's a lot of guys who I can see it happening a la Thomas last year. Like, I didn't think Thomas was going to win last year, and he held it. But there's a lot of other guys who are strong, but I don't know if they can hold it all the way. And I think a freak thing could happen.
Now, you know how you dropped that Barguil?
Yeah.
Like, get a top 10?
He's going to do good.
Him up in my other fantasy draft and put a nice fiber of faith on him on roller derby. So, like, I know you'll be into that.
He's going to be good in the mountains.
Another idea. That's another theme, or something that kind of just strikes me as a little odd in the first couple stages here. The lack of impetus of Lotto Jumbo, or whatever, Yellow Lotto.
Yeah.
To get Wout van Aert in the yellow jersey on stage 3.
You think it was lack of impetus? Or
they let Alaphilippe go, and it just seemed like they weren't really pushing hard, and he ended up only like a manageable distance out of getting into that jersey.
He was 20, and I think as of this moment, going into stage 6, he's 14 seconds back.
Yeah.
I think I just think they didn't think Alaphilippe had it. It sounded, from some of the other interviews I heard, it sounded like a lot of guys were just like, one Alaphilippe attacked really hard, and everybody else hesitated because of the distance.
I'm discounting Alaphilippe winning that stage. I'm discounting what I felt was Lotto Jumbo not fighting to keep the yellow jersey within the team. I got this feeling that they're almost pulling that, like, the way they did Miguel Indurain. Remember, they sent him home after 7 stages of the tour in his very first one. And you're like, why are you doing that? Like, it's kind of like how baseball teams sit down their star pitcher halfway through the season before they even get to the postseason with this idea that they're lengthening his career. And it's like, no, man, you got to utilize.
Well, in baseball,
you got to get Wout van Aert in that yellow jersey now.
He's going to have Tommy John surgery in a year anyway, regardless. So
exactly.
Well, but here's my theory about Lotto or Jumbo Visa or whatever they are now. I think they've got, almost at this point, they have too many things going on. Like, they wanted to get that yellow jersey with Dylan, and it didn't work, but they got it with Mike, so that was super bonus, and they kept it for 2 days. They won 2 stages, but I think they really feel like Kreiswick can pull off a podium, if nothing else, in this tour. And I think they're a little worried about going all in to get Wout the jersey and then having to defend it. Because once you get it, you got to defend it. And obviously that'd be good for them, but like, I feel like they've got a lot of things to deal with here.
Okay, so that's a little bit different, but it almost reinforces what I'm thinking then, right? Like that's why they they needed Quick Step to just take the jersey because they're like, oh, maybe Kreiswick. There's no Stowbanks in the middle of July on the Tourmalet.
Yeah,
like,
so he's safe.
He's safe. All right, I'm a little.
I just think they're a little worried about overdoing it. Look how hot they went in with Primoz at the Giro, right?
Oh yeah,
and that it fizzled a little, and I think
talk about something else that cost my roller derby account.
Well, and I think that probably is sticking in that team's mind, which is that they came out as the super hot team and were leading the GC and gave it away just to get it back, but it didn't really work out, right? So now here they come out in the Tour, they're the super hot team, they're obviously crushing everybody. They're probably a little bit worried that they're going to go crazy again and then blow it up in the third week.
So here's another one for you. Let's just keep going where we are. Just more thoughts. 5 stages in, no one's dropped out yet. Not even like, some national champion from a country that is purely brought in for sponsors. Like really, I would expect even like the Bahrainian national champion. Not that he's in the race, but like he usually was the Chinese national champion. I think one year, like he lasted like 2 stages kind of thing. I was maybe expecting to see some of that. Yeah. So it's great to see everyone healthy. Is that and also the lack of crashes in the Tour right now, is that due to less riders on the team and a little bit right? Like I don't know, like is it less bodies?
But isn't the bodies the same? I know, I guess they didn't go more teams. I don't know. Maybe just the it's because every team has their own chef now, so they're not spreading as many diseases at the dinner table like they used to. That is surprising no one's dropped out. I've got to imagine with stage 6 being the first big climbs, we're going to see 1 or 2 guys just who can't, or not. Probably there's probably 1 or 2 guys who aren't feeling good and they've been limping their way through, and tomorrow's going to be the real kick in the gut, So
I would say that initially I was very excited about the smaller teams, right? Because like less of the robotic Team Sky, but then I kind of heard the personal toll of that when I was listening to Mitch Docker's Life in the Peloton podcast with Turbo Durbridge.
Turbo Durbo.
Mitch really wanting to get into the Tour team, and one less spot that makes it that much more difficult. And then it's like I'll actually like own up to that. Like that kind of sucks to hear how it directly like affects someone. Whereas like me, thousands of miles away is just watching it like what's it matter, one less rider, and then you kind of hear that. So anyways, check out the Mitch Docker podcast. It was really insightful. It's great to have Durbridge on there. I kind of like him as a co-host with Mitch, but that made me think a little bit, because I was just assuming that Mitch Docker was going to be like the road captain to kind of let TJ do what TJ was going to do and get a top 5 at the Tour.
Yeah, I mean that's to say I feel
TJ's looking good.
TJ is looking good. I feel that same way every time they talk about shrinking the number of World Tour riders generally and all that. It's like, I don't know. That's crazy. That's so many people. Like there already is such a small pool of people who get the chance to even jump into this level. It's crazy.
I'm just going to throw this out there. With Peter Sagan winning today and taking the time bonus, he jumped into 9th place overall in GC, thus bumping TJ Van Garderen down to 15th place. So only 1 away.
It's close. Tomorrow's a good day.
Overall, man, I'm just like, I'm pretty stoked on this Tour. I'm pretty happy with what I see. I'm kind of over team time trials. They're just boring to me. But whatever. They got it out of the way early.
Yeah, they got it out of the way. And it was kind of short. I got to say, I'll give it that. I was a little disappointed because I didn't get to watch Saturday live because I wasn't home. I was at a cabin. I didn't have the internet that could get me the race. So when I got home Sunday, I was super excited. And then as I was turning it on, I remembered, team time trial. That's the first bit of Tour I got to watch live. And so I watched it because I was so amped to watch the Tour. Normally I would skip it. I was so amped to watch the Tour. I watched it as I was like making pancakes or whatever. But yeah, it was a little disappointing. But it was short, and I could live with that.
I was a little disappointed with it being the race being in Belgium. And then, like, not, it's almost like they listened to TJ a little too much about the lack of cobbles. You know what I mean? Like you're in Belgium.
A little bit on stage one, but yeah.
They had a little bit in the mirror, but the mirror was 70 kilometers away from the finish or whatever.
It was far out. They should have made
finish that on top of the mirror. Come on.
I know. Basically, start the tour with like a mini Tour of Flanders. I mean, come on.
Just to start the tour for Alejandro Valverde, who, by the way, is looking svelte and really good. Did you see the stories that he dropped like 4 kilo?
Yeah, but like from what? Was he overweight? I guess that feels so arbitrary. Like, did you get a starting number? I just don't feel like Valverde doesn't seem like the kind of guy who ever puts on weight. So I do find it hard to believe that he suddenly at 37, 38, suddenly found a way to lose 4 kilos, which is a ton of weight. I mean, if that's true, I don't know.
Did you see, is it Cycling Tips or Cycling News? I don't know. Some of them are having, they're doing their classic, the bike reviews and Tour de France tech of what's happening. And they had the Merida bike of whoever their team leader is of Merida. Yeah, Nibali, or maybe. And it was basically the non-aero bike. So looking at all of the different bikes, and a lot of people now are in that, still that full kind of aero setup with the crazy weird fairing kind of thing that's coming off the seat collar.
Yep.
And then they're still using like kind of some more ovalized tubes. It was pretty cool to see like the differentiation. Are you seeing anything like tech wise, kit wise that's getting you excited in these first 5 days?
No, I mean, I'm so glad some people are still keeping it with the rim brakes, but feel like time is low. Though, speaking of Cycling Tips, they had an article that was up today about Ineos using lightweight wheels. Which was a funny thing. It was an interesting article.
Aren't they?
It was sort of throwing out some theories on
Shimano.
it. So, but I do like that just because it did reference Ulrich, and it did bring me back to those early 2000 eras when basically most teams weren't on carbon wheels yet, except for once you hit the mountains, you could tell who had sponsors that believed in them and which team was willing to spend some coin, because all the guys would bring out their personal fancy wheels, and I like that. When
you see these bikes, though, like I don't know if I really like the seat stay coming so low on the seat, like the seat tube.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's starting to get a little like funky. Like the UCI needs to create another gauge, like the way they have that windshield wiper sock height gauge thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To push that. I want those seat stays to go back up a little higher. Like, they got to meet at the junction up by the seat collar or something. Am I ridiculous here?
Trying to stiffen up that rear end. Everybody's trying to stiffen up their rear end.
Yeah, we all are.
If this UCI sock rule had been enforced when we were Little Guy Racing presented by Grumpy's, our former teammate Mark Burns would have been banned for life.
So you saw the picture, right, that we put on our Instagram. Head on over to the Slow Ride Pod for those that didn't see it, and it's the UCI sock measurement gauge. We picked it up online, and they're, I believe, looking the pictures of a Triple C rider's sock height.
Yep,
and it is pretty high. Like it is.
It looks really high. Those are basically tube socks pulled up to his knees.
Yeah, I don't know if they're like the aero benefit. I think that the UCI should just start enforcing some fashion rules and just say like you're getting borderline triathlete height here on these calf sleeves.
Yeah. At this point, someone will claim that no sleeves is more aero, and they'll try to get the UCI rules changed soon or something for that, and that'd be terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, I do like Tour de France tech and all that. I'm going to definitely be digging in more and more to some of the photo galleries that are floating around. But, overall, I'm pretty stoked. So stage 6 coming up with the mountains. Then kind of we're into the regular tour schedule for the most part of the Monday rest stages. Yeah, I definitely recommend folks head on over to rollerderby.com. You can also listen to the Let It Ride podcast that I've been doing with Spencer to kind of give some updates about what's going on. But little guy, what are you looking for in the next week or so before we get back together and talk more about the tour?
Well, I mean, we're going to have the first mountain stages. I am looking for whether or not Nibali is going for GC. I think we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out tomorrow. The whole game of him not will be decided on stage 6, whether or not he hangs. I think he doesn't know what he's doing. Also, Barguil, Warren Barguil, I think he's still hanging around. He's like 50th or something, but he's only 2 minutes down. I think it'll be interesting to see what he does on this stage 6, because if he sits up and just lets this one go, then we know he's going to try to win 3 stages in the last week. But if he hangs, I think he might be going for a sneak GC. I think the form is really good.
Well, and he looks really good. They did a good job with the national kit, but look, here's one for you. Let me throw another one out there. Katusha just announced that they're not going to be moving forward as a sponsor anymore, right? The team is disbanding next year.
Yeah. Thank God.
How does Zacharin respond? Does he go for a stage? Does he go for a top? Because he is the one that you're sitting there going, what team is he going to go to, right?
You know what he did? He did today. He went for losing like 7 minutes or something.
Oh, did he? Okay, so I knew that. I read it in there, but so he did.
Maybe he didn't lose that much. He lost a lot of time. I don't think he even wanted to do this race after doing the Giro. I feel like they just, because they had no. What does Katusha have to do with the Tour?
So yeah, he lost 7.5 minutes. You're right.
Yes,
so
I think
they can let him go up the road maybe for a stage, but he's got to be playing for something, don't you think?
I think playing for a stage. I mean, I think he's already been linked with CCC, so.
Oh, he has.
I bet that he's been linked, but I bet if that contract hasn't been signed, I think if he can pop a stage win in there, he can add a 0 to that contract. You know, right now he's just a Giro stage winner. He knocks another one off, he can earn a few more rubles.
Yeah, it's just that team. I mean, you're not going to see much from them.
I feel bad for a lot of those guys, but I mean, Vanderpool's going to need some more teammates cause he's currently only got like 7, and most of them are racing cyclocross. So,
and he's going to take that Alpecin sponsorship.
Yeah.
I
love that.
Is this Korean circus team? Are they the smartest of all teams out there? Because they do this Continental. They just line up the guy that is the future. Let him do whatever he wants. And then now they also have the mountain bike women's World Cup leader, right?
Yeah.
They're obviously the strongest team, that they're getting to the point that they don't need to meet the dumb World Tour requirements, but they're always going to get invited in. Like they have the Belgian national champ on their team now, right? So every race in Belgium, guess what? This team is going to be invited as well, not just because of Vanderpool.
Well, I think they're geniuses. I don't know what they're paying Vanderpool, but I mean, it's probably really good, but the rest of that team's probably pretty budget. And it sort of seems like they signed a bunch of they signed so many other cross racers that they must have, Vanderpool is just sign all these guys I know.
Yeah, and that came up a little bit on the pod. So we're going to see more Tour de France racers in the future doing more of this gravel and cyclocross setup, because it's clearly seems to be working.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope some more of them come to track, and maybe I can race against them or something.
So, will Wanty Gobert, will they win a stage?
No way, man.
Alfredo's
last place on GC right now, 43 minutes down.
Yeah.
But he probably looks really good doing it. His socks are probably just right at the limit. No, they're not going to win a stage. I mean, Barguil's going to win a stage, and then I'm always rooting for my boy Rain Terame.
I was just about to say the Estonian, right? So
he's one of those guys who had good GC when he was really young, and now who knows what's going on. But he could maybe sneak into a top 15, but I don't see much more.
Friend of the podcast, Tom Scoins, was in that Latvian national champion kit for Trek Segafredo in the break. Did you see the finger wag that he did today?
I did see the finger wag. That was very nice.
I saw it in real time. I was so proud. I was like, oh, maybe that's for us. It's kind of like when, one of the podcasts we listened to, my brother and me, when Lynn Miranda is always doing the little symbols to the my brother and me audience.
Yeah. It was pretty great.
Tom Scoons saying man, I'm gonna only the Slow Ride podcast is gonna pick this up, and then they'll blow it out of the water.
I hope he's focusing more on the job at hand. But
what do you think, Richie Port? Top 10 at the Tour?
No
you think
way.
This is no. All right.
No. Wait, stage 9. What's happening on stage 9? I haven't even looked at the profile
of stage 9.
Richie's got to be oh sweet. Yeah, he's scared. I don't think so. I don't think so, but
so you got your little hat on, right? I like asking these questions. There's so much here.
Yeah,
top place Frenchman in the Tour. Who will it be? It's probably going to be between Pinot and Barguil, right?
I think it'll be. Oh man, I haven't shown anything. Pinot looks better right now, but I think he'll crack.
All right,
Barguil.
Will Dan Martin be the highest placed American in the Tour?
No, I think Michael Woods will be higher.
Okay, well done. I like what you did there. All right.
What do you think about this? I've got a theory. Kelderman's going to come good. I know he had a really quiet year and he was injured and he was just here to help, but he's sneakily I forget where he's sitting, but he's sitting all right.
Would he really be helping though? Like besides Michael Matthews to win a stage, right?
Well,
And
like
maybe
he was going to be here for Dumoulin and that was kind of his goal, but like he's a guy, he hasn't had anything to show this year, but I mean he's been fourth in the Volta and I don't know. He's been up there in the Giro. I mean, he could do a sneaky. He's a good time trialist. I'm feeling good for Kelderman. That's my bet.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll just mark that one down. Also, just wanted to do a quick shout out, little guy that this podcast is brought to us by Whoop. So Whoop is a performance tool that is changing the way people track their fitness and optimize their training. So basically, it's a wrist-worn heart rate monitor that pairs to your app or any app that you use and provides analytics on insights on recovery, strain, and sleep. I've heard from many people that have used this already, and basically it tracks if you're tired. I like it because since I play hockey late at night, it always says that I'm not sleeping enough, and therefore I can't go for the rides early in the morning because they're like, you got to keep sleeping. So it's actually pretty great. So
that's nice.
You can just head over to whoop.com and then use the discount code SLOWRIDE, and you save 15% on a 12 or 18-month membership. It's pretty cool because you actually get a free wrist device. Talking to Bill from Cyclocross Radio earlier today on it. He was wearing his. Pairs up, super simple, easy way to use it, and save 15% on the membership. Ends up being about $5-10 a month.
It's not bad at all.
You get a bunch of additional insights in how to become a better rider and better athlete. So thanks to Whoop. Head on over to whoop.com and use discount code SLOWRIDE at checkout. But, little guy, as we're sitting here going into the tour, I'm stoked that you were able to find some time to come back on. Who would you say? So I'm gonna. Who's your podium for the winners so far in the first 5 stages? So basically, what are the winning moments, winning teams, winning people that you think are the highlights? Your top 3.
My top 3, I guess. Mikey T pulling the surprise upset.
All right,
on
so
stage
Mikey,
1.
like the doing it for all of the lead out men around the world,
all the lead out men,
all the domestiques.
You can't beat going and watching that in-car Lotto Jumbo Visma video of the directors, not knowing what's going on and then realizing he won. That's pure gold. That's pure gold.
And it's also, I second that. That's definitely on my podium as well. I just the emotion of that team knowing that Grussenwagen crashes.
Yeah, they were so just like, nah, and then they're like, we didn't win. Oh, it's pure joy.
Groenenwagen, crashes, and then I always add the S for some reason, and I apologize, but Groenenwagen crashes, and then the disappointment, and then they're like, whoa, we still got Wout and Toonson up there, so that was pretty cool. All right, what else you got on your podium?
Alaphilippe, gotta have that Frenchman on the way back into France with panache.
With panache, all right, there we go. All right,
I mean,
what else you got? I have a little counter on that one.
All right. The thing, I'll say the thing is, I forget Alaphilippe's French. That's how good he is.
Wow, I would counter that and say like I wouldn't put Alaphilippe on my podium individually. I would just say the entire Quick Step team is clearly once again the winner here because Viviani's sprint the other day on the inside rail was fantastic. And they have so many different national champions on that team that I don't even know if they're quick step riders that are at the front because they fixed the Viviani jersey. And now all of a sudden, things look good. And so quick steps there. I mean, Alaphilippe is part of that, but quick step is definitely on my podium. And
I was happy to see Sagan win, truthfully.
All right. So I think we're pretty much, having Sagan definitely belongs on the podium because how many second places does he get?
And like I know it gets a little boring. Like people are like, Sagan won it. It's like you kind of want to root for the underdog or whatever. But like also, Sagan's great, and it feels a little. Yeah, it just wouldn't feel the same if Sagan wasn't. It almost makes all the other guys who are going to win in sprints in this race. It elevates their win knowing that Sagan is on the form to win. Like if he had come to this race and never won a stage, then it feels a little bit like, I won a stage of the tour and a sprint, but Sagan was on an off year. He's obviously on. And I'm excited for this Sagan Michael Matthews green jersey duel. I think we found a reason for Michael Matthews. It's to make the Sagan green jersey thing interesting. So I think they're pretty equal in a lot of ways right now. Sagan's a little quicker, but Matthews can also like mix it up in other parts of the stages. So I think that this could be a good battle.
Are you coming into the camp of cheering for Bling Matthews?
I'm not sure. No, I want Sagan to win, but I just want it to be interesting. I want to see Sagan do stuff.
How about a Bling Matthews green jersey win with not winning a stage?
I mean, I would salute that.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I would like.
So it's not like you have to like respect his win, but you'd be like, oh, you won the jersey. He was consistently second place.
I would respect that win. I would respect that somebody found a way to do that. You know, like. It's more interesting to me if the green jersey is not just a guy like Viviani or Caleb, you know, like, or Dylan. Like, those guys are great sprinters and all, but like, I find them boring. They need lead out trains and like they're good in like one instance. Guys like Sagan and Matthews and Wout for that matter are much more interesting to me.
So I would say that the podium is pretty close that we've got, and then this wouldn't be a wide angle podium network show without going into the kind of those extra steps. I definitely have on there Wout van Aert's debut. It's been pretty damn awesome. His second place today was fantastic to see. So that's
he's comfortable.
A solid step on the wide angle for me. And then also, I said it in the beginning, like we're 5 stages in. I feel that like with today, you're going to have that, Luke Durbridge was talking about this with Mitch Docker on Life in the Peloton. Stage 6, you're going to finally get the order of the race kind of set up. So hopefully that reduces the threat of a massive crash that takes out riders. And like that's definitely on the podium for me, is that there hasn't been an in-race incident that, NBC Sports is going to be able to just play on loop over and over of riders getting bloody. And I like that.
Yeah, I agree. And it's obviously guys work so hard to get to this race, and it's such a big part of their year. And for some of them, that might be the one time they get to do the tour, and it's terrible to have to go home, because some guy chopped your wheel or something,
Yeah, and then here's the other part. This is what I want to final with, little guy, because it wouldn't be the Slow Ride podcast show if we didn't get into the lowlights so far of the tour. I've got a couple that just need to be shouted out. I'll start. Feel free to jump in if there's some ones that you got to ask. But the first lowlights of the tour, individually, I would have to say is whatever happened to Andre Greipel and Caleb Ewan. Still hasn't been able to find like that kind of little opening that he needs to come out and win. And I feel bad for him. Not really on the same step as Greipel, who's just disappeared from sprinting, but he is a former hill climb champion, so maybe he's going to come through on one of these hilly stages.
Tomorrow's his day. He's waiting for the first mountain test. I think Greipel, he's just old, right?
Yeah, but I want to see him one more time up there.
That would be great. He hasn't been there, at all.
But Caleb Ewan, I'm kind of waiting, and I will be so happy when he wins with that unorthodox sprinting style, and I'm just like, oh man, did he leave it too long? Like, is it just not going to happen this tour? And was Lotto right last year by not bringing him to the tour?
What else do they got? I know you believe in Tees, but I don't quite believe in the GC Tees.
So and then another low light for me is just as mentioned earlier, is like the lack of a true like Belgian. Like, you're in Belgium, come on, go like full Belgian on the course.
Yeah,
right?
I'm surprised they didn't really do a stage. That was more for a Wout or a GVA or something.
Yeah,
but.
And also, a low light for me is just the complete lack of any type of muckraking journalism that has been done on there has to be a rivalry between Bernal and Geraint Thomas and Ineos. They've been a little too silent. Yeah. There's not enough like British tabloid journalism that needs to happen about who the true leader is to really make this a soap opera that is worth following, with all the minutia that I think a Chris Froome, Geraint Thomas at the same tour would have given us.
I agree. Bernal seems like that smile, though. I don't know how you could be mad at that smile. You just you look over at him,
but I want a little flavor. I want a little spice. I want a little I want a little drama with, a side portion of drama with my Cheerios in the morning.
What about your triple threat Movistar? Last year there was so much talk about going in with that, and we're in the same position basically in that Nairo wants leadership. Valverde will probably do whatever because he's in carries won everything, and got
he has
Landa.
a 2-year contract. He's out of the contract year.
Yeah, and we're in the same crazy Landa position we're always in, where Landa's playing second fiddle again, and we'll probably see this Thursday. We could, at this point, people hear this, they can know whether or not Landa's got it, but Landa is going to be he'll attack, and then Nairo, who knows, maybe Landa will mess up and he'll fall down and he'll have to chase again. But, I mean, I feel like the real drama's in that team.
Well, I think maybe they've solved that three-headed hydra, right? I think they're all in on Nairo. They gotta win before he leaves to a continental team to never be seen again. He's gonna go. I'm afraid he's gonna go the route of Jose Rujano, just go to a continental team and never get a start call again. I'm really worried about that with this move to a continental team.
He's going to Barguil's team though, right? So they'll make it to the Tour.
Yeah. That's very true. I mean, I don't know if I believe that he's going to that team. Is that who he's been linked to? I thought it was,
or was it the other one?
Some of the multi-sponsored continental teams.
Thought it was that team. I don't remember those French teams.
Well,
who knows?
Little guy, this has been an absolute joy to get you back on the pod. I can't wait to have you on a mainline edition along with Spencer. I know he is as well, and I think we could have some fun as we go forward. But I think you and I need to do this again next week, do a little check-in on how the tour is going.
Sounds
do
good.
Me a favor, head on over to Roller Derby so you can put some points in because I need to win some because I've already taken out a couple of loans.
Yeah, I got to take another loan too.
I'm doing my best to inflate the the currency value of roller derby.
Yeah,
by just taking money that no longer exists. But yeah, man, little guy, this has been an absolute joy. I'd like to thank everybody for listening to the Tour de France recap of the Slow Ride podcast. And thanks to BK1 Ryan Sanders Entertainment for all of the intro and outro music. We'd like to thank Whoop for their continued support. Head on over to whoop.com and save 15% on your membership and actively track your recovery and your exercise by using the code SLOWRIDE at checkout. And with that, this is Tim in Orlando.
Thanks for having me back. It's been Matt in Minneapolis.
Oh, it's so good. The only thing that would make the NBC Sports Network coverage a little bit better would be if they actually brought back Kenny Caffey.